Alright, well, last recording was pretty interesting, I'd say. Alright, this is recording Thursday, July 4th, 2019 at 10:19 hours. Just got home. Well, I mean, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what I did 10 minutes ago. Doesn't matter what I did 30, 40 minutes ago, 2 hours, 3 hours ago. To you, maybe not. To me, not really. Anywho, last recording was pretty interesting because it was supposed to be like, just quick shooting at just throwing stuff on the board and see what I can roll with and see how long I could talk about these certain things. That just kind of popped into my head in a single day. Didn't really work out. It was, I wouldn't say too short, because these sort of things normally aren't supposed to be like too short or too long, but I would say it was really just all over the place and unorganized and all that. So I wanted to contrast that today I actually had 6 topics to talk about, accumulated over the span of, I think, 2 weeks. And now I just kind of chose 4 of those. And basically, I'm coming to this recording better prepared, I'd like to assume, because, well, relatively better prepared. Say, I have better developed show notes, so to speak. I'm not reading it off a screen. I find it better to just read it off of a piece of paper, like a notebook in front of me, instead of actually having to look at a screen. Also, kind of warmed up my voice and had some nice chamomile to soften the old vocal cords. Have like water right next to me, and kind of sort of went through the stuff I was going to talk about beforehand. Now, reasoning behind this is that, sure, I want to make listening to these recordings later on more enjoyable, just because, well, someone's got to listen to them, and that someone is most likely, well, that someone is me, so I'm just going to try to not be a total jerk to my future self by actually putting in some effort into the stuff that I'm showing to myself. Because I listen to the older recordings, and I say, oh, this is actually kind of nice. I wonder where it will go next. Like, it's almost like, oh, I wonder what the next episode will be like. And then it drops, and it's a dumpster fire that I don't know if that'll ever see the light of day. Speaking of seeing the light of day, the bettering in the quality of these recordings may lend themselves to actually releasing them to the public in the form of an actual podcast. Now, I've been rolling this idea just over and over in my head, and no, but you're not popular enough yet, and no one really cares that much about what you do and the process behind it. Like, no one really knows what you do that much. You don't even do that much to begin with, and don't have that enough time to put into this other project. But as with all other projects, when there's a will, there's a way. And I just feel at this point that it's inevitable for me to release some recordings out to the public sooner or later. Probably, maybe, I don't know, before the end of the year. Right now it's July. 4th of July. Oh, no way. Huh. 4th of July, 2019. Huh. Anyway, yeah, probably, maybe, I don't know anything about what future me is gonna do. Future me is unpredictable as all hell, as you can probably guess right now, because remember the important, legal, adult stuff that I was supposed to do? I haven't done any of that. Remember the art accounts I really have to get? I haven't done any of that. What I did do was that instead of working on music, I'm working on the writing project. Again. But, alright, let's back up a bit. I told myself, okay, yeah, I gotta work on music more. And then the writing project kept on showing up everywhere I looked, because it's not only music, but it's also my very life and existence that feeds into this project. My very life is what inspires this project, and that's kind of scary, because it turns out that this project is a bit more personal than I thought it would be. For better or for worse. But at the same time, that way I know, my writing would be more genuine, and the emotions would be more real, I guess. But yeah. Anyway, after the past recording, which will probably not see the light of day, I was actually just kind of sort of working a little bit on the writing, but then, I looked back at the sweater portrait that I just kind of dropped back when back when Tom's Gift just came in, and this is what I had to drop. I had to drop the sweater portrait. Now, after all this time, which has been like, what, 2 months maybe? Maybe more? I look at the sketch, I look at what I got and say, how about we throw this into the garbage and start from fresh? Start from nothing. Because it's just a sketch, and it's not really that good. And after, of course, that sketch was like from before I was working on, Tom's Gift. So after Tom's Gift was a learning experience, because not only did I redo a sketch, I redid line art. I followed references, and I cel shaded a little bit. But still, I think it's the first time. Oh no, wait. Yeah, I used to cel shade a little bit way back in high school when I used to draw on my 3DS. Yeah, but that was way long ago. I haven't drawn anything in digital since then. So yeah, basically getting better with every piece. So that's actually kind of exciting. We're getting a bit off track. So right now I'm working on the sweater portrait, and it's going along really good. Finished up line art. I'm working on coloring. I think I kind of finished coloring. I'm just kind of working details. Should be finished in, I'd say. Oh no. I was gonna say next week, but next week I'm going on vacation. Oh boy. Wait. Thursday. It's on Monday. It's like, God, what? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's, 4 days. I had 7 days, and now they're just 4? Oh. Anywho, I just... Oh no. Okay. Why? Okay. Stop. Come on. Okay. Oh, all right. So yeah, the podcast might be a thing. Maybe, I don't know. All right. So I remember that I mentioned previously that I kind of enjoyed the experience of going out and working on Lab Depot, just sketching up a bit of Lab Depot when I went out to a McDonald's. Now, what happened next was I was working on the writing project. This time I decided to go to a Carl's Jr. Should I name drop? I already name dropped. The Star restaurant. We'll just call him Star and M. Because, yeah. Anyway, I mentioned I really enjoyed the sketching up at M. And right now, when I dropped by Star, I really enjoyed writing there. It's just different. They're just different layouts, different, I would say, different aesthetics to each place, different ambience. The tables are just set up differently with different chairs and just different dynamics. They just feels like, I don't know, but say in McDonald's, one of the things that really lends itself to banging out all your paper and sketching stuff is, say, table for 4. Like, you see one of the sides is like just a single sort of bench thing that's against a wall, sort of, and the other side are just 2 chairs. I think they're static chairs, like bolted to the ground, I don't know. That and being able to like slide from left to right on the sort of bench thing lends itself to just managing more of the table, and therefore more of the stuff on the table at once, so you can switch between sketches and notes and references and all these sort of stuff. So yeah, and the one on Carl's Jr., at least the one I was in, it was a bit dimmer lighting. The say in McDonald's, all the stuff was like white and beige and like certain tones of light gray, and there was like a lot of natural sunlight going in. Then I go to the Carl's Jr. was it carpets? Are they carpets? I don't know if they're probably not carpets. The floors, the ceiling, the wallpaper, everything is just not exactly a dark gray. Like it's a dark, kind of muddy indigo, like jet blue, like navy, kind of. It's basically like really really dark gray tinged in blue, with dimmer lighting. Not too many windows. The lighting is just uh, yeah, just darker lighting, I guess. And the place I sat at was kind of like a bar. Kind of, they were like, it's basically a table. How do you visualize it? Say a table, like a really long table, like a table for, say, a party. Okay, so you have this large table, stools on each side. Stools, not chairs, stools with like a little backrest. And above, like on this table, was like, say, a smaller table. It was like a foot off the tabletop. There was like another like little platform that extended, like say, 1'6", like 1'8", away from the big table edge. There was like another small table, like a little table on the table, and that kind of created the separation between the people sitting on one side and the people sitting on the other, while at the same time still providing that space for, say, napkin holders and stuff like that. So you sit down at this long table, and you are in this separation. Kind of, sort of makes you focus more on the stuff that's immediately in front of you. It's not like the McDonald's table, where like the whole 4-person table that is closer to the ground, mind you, lends itself to you actually extending all your work across the workspace, and the natural lighting just makes it feel that more open. Meanwhile, the Carl Jr. table, you're actually like the environment around you is sort of dimmed, so that your attention is more focused towards what's near you. On top of that, you take the separation that the table itself has, and it forces you to focus on the thing that's directly in front of you. Couple that with the fact that that you're on stools, that you're not that close to the ground. So the ground itself, being far away from you, is sort of even more in the background, meaning that you focus not on the space below you, but again on the space right in front of you. So that all of that, somehow, some way, I don't know, but all of that comes together to make for better writing environment. And here's what I'm getting at. Different places for different kinds of work. And I don't know how. Alright. You might have noticed by now, I am a nerd in several things, and one of those things is design in general. Just think about every single detail around in the space. What do you want to do in that space? And accommodate the things, every single variable, to favor that purpose. And that's why I'm into level design. I just like shaping spaces in general. And just talking about this, this is the first time I actually kind of wrap this into words. Because I kind of had the idea in my head. I was like, okay, I'm going to talk about these sorts of things, but now that I'm actually speaking them out, I realize that it's almost as if they were intentionally designed like this. I don't know if the interior designer of the Carl's Jr. joint said, hey, you know what would be real good? That if we made it so that writers like eating here. Like the McDonald's say, hey, what if we get architects eating here? And like freaking... I don't know, dude. Just the amount of things that just click with each activity, now that I'm saying them out loud, is it's quite interesting. And putting it into this sidetrack, what I was getting to, different places for different work. Because if I were to bring, say, the design, the Lab Depot, the level design, to, say, the very space I was working on the writing, which was this long, like, elongated Carl Jr. table, I would find myself, like, just throwing sketches under the table on the table, under the platform, where they're not really accessible, and they're just kind of sort of in the background of what you're doing, like, right in front of you. They're just as accessible, but they don't feel as accessible. You're not in this open space where everything is laid out in front of you. And say, if I were to go to, which I did at one point, work on some writing, in the same McDonald's table with all the natural lighting, the bright, open table, and the bench that you could just slide your that you could just slide yourself from side to side. It feels messy, and it feels like there's a bunch of empty space just there to distract you, and there's just a lot of, like, too much light on you, and you're not as focused as you should be, because of the different types of thought processes that these two different things are. I don't know, I could just gush on forever about this stuff. One last workspace that I wanted to get to was, of course, the desk, the home desk. Now, of course, with mapping, you gotta have your computer with you, and even though I do have this laptop, it doesn't have a battery. Even if it did have a battery, or even if I would just take the charger and plug it in, I wouldn't have my mouse with me. I wouldn't have my keyboard with me. I could use the keyboard on the laptop, but, like, seriously, like, hold on. Listen to that. You really want me to use that in public? Now, this isn't exactly the best thing in the world either. But it works way better for this type of stuff. Man, computers are fun. And of course, you're just lugging this stuff around with the risk of something happening to it. The way I go out and about isn't really suited for this sort of stuff. It's just like, okay, yeah, a sketchbook and just loose sheets of paper, and there's your workplace for design. Just the binder and a separate notebook and a pen, and there's your workspace for writing. Flat Depot is the computer, and here's the thing, the second monitor. I've gotten used to having a second monitor when working in Hammer. Is that a good thing? I don't know. Probably. I really did feel the difference with that. So, obviously, I'm not going to go on Hammer at, say, Dairy Queen. But the other thing was art. Now, all I need to work on art is my phone and a touchscreen stylus. That's it. That's all I need to work on digital art. Nothing more. Just 2 items that I can fit in my pocket. It's less than what I need to do for writing. It's less than what I need to do for design. But you know where I feel like I work better at art? In my house. Because here, I can have, and I already mentioned this, I have this towel. My desk is actually, like, made of glass, so that's not really comfortable for, like, placing stuff on there a lot of the time. So I put my cell phone on a towel, like a small, like, face towel. Just put it on there so that it doesn't move around a whole lot, and that my hand can rest on something that's not glass. Sticky, icky glass from all the tea that I have just lying around, and all the junk food, and all and in front of me, in front of that, I've got the laptop on. Because since the cell phone is already working on actually running the software, I don't want it to run a music application at the same time. So what I have on the laptop is some music on one side, be it YouTube, SoundCloud, or Windows Media Player. Yes, I still use Windows Media Player. Get off me. And, do I have the toggle time? I have the time tracker in the background, and I have on the second screen, sometimes, Discord. Sometimes. Discord, having a chat room open might seem unintuitive and distracting, and it kind of is. But the thing about having it open on art is that art just requires more precision in your motor ability, because you sketch out a design, okay, you just flail around your pen or pencil just in the general shape to get a basic idea of the spaces that are going to exist within this level. Writing, you just literally, my handwriting is absolutely terrible. It's like a weird amalgamation of just regular typeface and cursive, just because of how fast I write. But that's it. All you need to do is, like, think the words, and your hand just kind of just barfs them out onto paper. With the drawing, you need to really, like, lean forward, watch the screen closely, and put each and every single stroke exactly where it needs to be. And that can get tedious as hell. And I wouldn't change it for anything. Because each and every single one of those strokes needs to be there. And when you zoom out, you see that each and every single one of those strokes counted for something. Just. So it could get a bit draining. And that was really well exemplified by just the experience of working on Tom's gift. Yeah. So you kind of do need some sort of distraction. You kind of do need, like, something going on. You kind of, like, when you see yourself trying to get the exact same stroke for the 32nd time, for, like, the 40th time, you've been literally sitting there 30 minutes working on a single line. Sometimes you just need to talk to someone, so sometimes you just need to look at a meme for 5 seconds, or I don't know. But yeah, I found that it really helps for drawing to not isolate yourself in this activity. Just because a lot of it really does feel like grunt work, like the coloring. And the coloring, you're literally just filling in the space, and you're cutting off excess. It's not inherently creative to erase the nubs off of the line art. But it's something that's got to be done if what you're going for is a polished piece and not just some colored sketch. By the way, colored sketches are awesome. There are people who do colored sketches like really freaking well, that they actually do look like finished products. Someday. But yeah, you really do need different environments to induce these different headspaces, to induce these different mentalities for these different types of work that demand different things from you. How long? I think, yeah, I mentioned that this is actually the most well-prepared recording that I'm doing. And I'm actually going on a roll here. I'm already past the 36-minute mark, and I'm just at the halfway point of what I'm doing, of what I'm trying to cover. Yeah, this'll be good. So, working on the art. One thing, a little side thing. Yes, I am. All the art I'm doing right now is on my phone. It's a Moto G6. I think it's a G6. The shiny one. Yeah, it's the one with the shiny back, and I think it's the Moto G6 Plus. Decided to go with the Plus because I'm kind of a nerd. So, that's my workstation for art right now. I'm not working on a drawing tablet because I don't have a drawing tablet yet. There are actually a couple different things on my wish list. One's a new keyboard, an actual mechanical keyboard. Another is, of course, the drawing tablet. And there used to be an air conditioning on there, but I'm looking at historical weather and for the place I live, and supposedly, like, the hotter hots, they passed. Like, there were nights, or even afternoons, I guess, where I said it's too hot, like I can't sleep, I need air conditioning to live. But looking back at this summer, or what's passed, those were like only, say, 3-4 nights. And say, 3-4 nights. Are 3-4 nights per year really worth bucks when there's a bunch of other stuff just lying around? Such as the vacation, such as the keyboard, such as the drawing tablet that can potentially, actually, maybe, just maybe, give me something back? I don't know. But yeah, I'm kind of glad I got to work on mobile software first, because it's just simpler and just easier to get. Like, the brush settings, they're not as insane as some of the art programs on PC are. You don't have to actually, like, fret that much about the pen sensitivity. I don't have to worry about, like, drivers and such. I don't know. It just seems like it's art software for beginners, basically. Like, I don't need to worry about that much. I can just draw and draw and draw. But yeah, I think the time is getting near where I actually could use an actual drawing tablet. Now, I'm not going to get one of those fancy ones where it has a screen on there and takes up the whole freaking desk, but since I kind of already have a bunch of stuff that take up the whole freaking desk, but I'm going to get like one of those sort of like mini tablet-looking things that, I don't know, just kind of like just a basic one. It's going to be not soon, but hopefully before the end of the year. Hopefully. The next thing on the chopping block was, or rather is, will be, now. Not now. Okay, now. Next thing. How long is this? Okay, not too long, okay. Time tracking. I mentioned time tracking before on here. And I mentioned that a big inspiration for my recordings are the Cortex podcast. It's the podcast where, well, initially, Mike Hurley, the co-founder and podcaster of Relay FM, kind of interviewing CGB Cray, an educational YouTuber, on his work dynamic, on his workflow of different projects that he has. And what drew Mike to do this was just the weird efficiency of it and the strange productivity techniques that were implemented. This is also in part because of Mike having this certain productivity dynamic as well. But Gray's being just way optimized. A running joke among fans of his is that he is literally a robot, just super efficient at running tasks efficiently, effectively, productively. And it is this efficiency that intrigues people around him and inspired Mike to start the podcast. Now, what I'm doing right now, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right now, but basically, I'm trying to track my progress and my progress, thoughts, working dynamic. Yes, I'm trying to log my work. And I'm trying to speak out and actually listen to my work flow, my work dynamic, to see what I can do, what I can improve, what's wrong, what's good, and it's like kind of sort of this positive feedback loop where it's like, oh, I did a good, oh, I did a bad, oh, I said I was going to do this thing that I didn't do for the for the 10th time. So, I started listening to this, I'd say it was like the end of last year, like kind of November-ish of last year, I don't know. And I said, wow, I could really like listening to how these people work. I looked at how I work and I was like, hey, maybe, just maybe, I should pull my shit together. And so I did. I eventually started using a task manager, very simple one. I eventually started using my calendar a bit more, just a bit. And something that really changed how I saw what I was doing was time tracking. Time tracking, self-explanatory, is tracking your time. What you're doing with it, where is it going, how much of it is there for you to use, how much of it are you actually using. Because before I started, I had this expectancy of say, okay, my day starts at 8 p.m. Now, the space between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. is non-existent to me, because I need to use this time to get ready for work and for commute to work. The time in work is also kind of sort of in this limbo state, where I might be really busy. I might be, like, a lot of it might be downtime. But ultimately, this is time that is not yours, because one, you're not in full control of what you're doing between these hours, and two, because you're literally selling these hours to a corporation in exchange for money. So, yeah. And there's another hour, like after my shift ends, that's also non-existent, also for commute, and also just for arriving home and like dropping off your keys and emptying your pockets and just winding down from work and saying, okay, what else is there to do today? And after that, there were 4 hours of time that I actually had control over. That was from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., from 8 a.m. to noon, because I had to go to sleep at noon in order to have an 8-hour sleep, to wake up at 8 p.m., start a new day, quote-unquote day, and the, and the, uh, that was the sound of me reevaluating my life choices. So, yeah. The idea behind trend tracking is that this way there is hard, concrete evidence of exactly what you're doing with your time. Like, you're literally recording what you're doing. And here's how it works. You download the app, and immediately there's a big green play button. It's nice. It's very, very nice looking, very appealing. It's like the rest of the screen is just white and like little tidbits of red and a black stripe. And at the bottom right corner, there's this big green button with a play, god damn it, with a play symbol. Symbol. With a play symbol on it. Symbol? Quick side note, remember when I said I had I can distinguish, I can tell if it was I can tell you if it was a briefcase or a suitcase, like the thing that I carry all my stuff in and I carry all around. It's not a suitcase, it's not a briefcase, it was a messenger bag. It was a messenger bag that just so happens to kind of look like a suitcase because it's leather and it's black and it has a handle on it, but it's a messenger bag, and I couldn't for the life of me remember the term messenger bag when describing the thing I take to work every single day. Sometimes my brain just does that, and I don't know what the fuck I do about that. Anyway, the play logo, the play symbol, the play icon. There's this big green button, this big green play button with the freaking thing. You're like, okay, what does this app do? There's a big green button, let's push it. What happens next? A timer starts running. There's actually, it's counting the seconds. Oh. And it's just a question. What are you doing? You just stare at the question. And the time keeps going on. You've been staring at this for 15 seconds. What are you doing? And you just sit there like, what am I doing? 30 seconds have passed since you pushed that button. What are you doing? Just answer the question. Almost a full minute passed. What are you doing? There's a whole 60 seconds. Where did those 60 seconds go? What are you doing? Minute and a half. What are you doing? And then it hit me. Holy crap. What the hell am I doing? And I just typed in, screwing around in my phone. and I hit save. And I saw it. You have now been screwing around in your phone for 5 minutes. I hope you're okay with that, because this timer is still going. And I was like, oh no. Oh no. So that was just like the darn. So I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I gotta do chores. Okay, let's pull up my list of chores. What is there to do? Okay, stop this timer. I'm not screwing around on my phone anymore. I'm doing chores, okay? And I do chores. This time, this headspace, this mind space, the thing that I'm focusing on, that I'm supposed to be doing right now, and not doing anything else, is chores. And chores, this way. Chores that I would normally take, say, a whole hour to get through. Or at least that's what I thought I would get, I at least I thought that was the time that I would put into it. Okay, I'm finished with the chores. Okay, stop the timer. 30 minutes. I got so much done in 30 minutes. It just blows my mind. Because you start the timer. What are you doing right now? Okay. I just finished doing chores. I'm just gonna scroll around in my phone again. I'm just gonna scroll through Twitter a little bit. Just a little bit. You feel like you just barely scrolled through Twitter. You had you just kind of had a good time. Just had a nice rest from all the hard work you did in 30 minutes somehow. You stop the timer, 20 minutes have passed. Just like what? Like friggin' what? You start the timer again. Okay, I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna practice drawing. Start the timer. Okay. You you go through a sketch. You kind of, you do the head. You kind of add the facial expression and the clothes and hair and whatnot. Okay, you've you can't, for the life of you, like, figure out how the hair is going to work on this guy. And you try and you try and you try to wrap your head around what this dude is even gonna be like. And you just say, okay, I've been long enough here. I've dedicated more than enough time to this. You look at the timer. You've been sitting there for 20 minutes. What do you mean you've done? What do you mean you're done? What? Wow, how? Why? No. And it just changes how you approach time. What I did eventually was like, okay, let's time track as much as I can. Let's time track as much as possible. Turns out, supposedly my day started at 8 o'clock. Like 8. Like, supposedly. Turns out, my day didn't start at 8 because the alarm woke me up. I take my phone and I just look through this barrage of Discord messages and of WhatsApp messages. Like, it's my mom, and it's like telling me where do I want to go this weekend. And it's the work group, and it's like, it's just either just throwing memes or like sharing useless information that's helpful to everyone except me. And it's the Discord that's just freaking Discord. And before I know it, screwing around in my phone timer, the screwing around in my phone timer has been going on for 30 minutes. I'm like, welp, I'm gonna start a timer that says prep for work. And even though I'm supposed to leave for work at 10 o'clock, 22:00 hours, exactly, I stop the timer, and it's like, why? Why are you leaving for work 10 minutes late every day? Why are you leaving for work 20 minutes, 5-10 minutes late every day? Like, supposedly you had these, 2 hours to get ready. Like, why? It's like, I don't get it. Even then, you're spending a whole hour and a half to get ready. It's like, why aren't you ready? It's like, okay, cool, fine. Stop the timer. Right now, start a new timer just called commute. Alright. I'm not working on anything, but supposedly, I punch in the stuff on, Google Maps and says, okay, it should take you about 40 or 45 minutes to get to work on foot, which is how I like to commute on the way, too. Just going out for a nice little night walk. Clears the head, you know? I get there and it's like, you've been walking for 55 minutes now. Like, you're always just, 5 minutes, 3 minutes early to clock in. I look at it, it's 55 minutes. Oh, yeah. I when it passed by to it, the ATM, I passed by a convenience store to grab, a juice or something, or yogurt or whatever. It's like, oh, yeah, I do that. It's like, yeah. It's like, there's where time is. In our capitalist society, a work day is 8 hours. All right. Now I already had in mind, 8 of in your day, 8 of these hours are not yours. But hold on, there's another hour of commute that's not yours. There's before, and there's another half hour commute after that's not yours. And then there's another hour of preparation for work that's not yours. Meaning 8 hours work, 1 hour prep, 1 hour and a half of commute. Meaning that's 10 hours and a half of your day that's not yours. All right, stick with me. 8 hours are already not yours because you're asleep. They are yours, but you can't actually use them. Alright, so that's 18 and a half hours that are not yours. Okay? 24 hours is your day. It's your cycle. It's how this world was built. So, 24 minus 18. Alright, that's just, that's weird. 16 hours, 6 hours. Okay, 5.5 hours. You gotta use those 5 hours well. But then again, oh no. How many hours can you actually use for what you want to use them for? Alright, so, well, everything from before work is not for you since, well, you're just waking up and you have to eat at some point, and you have to actually shower and get dressed, and you have to actually dedicate time to your daily maintenance. It's like, darn. Okay, so, that means, supposedly, from the moment you wake up, you do not have time for you. You cannot choose how to spend your time until you get home. So that's 8 p.m. All the way to after, like say 7 a.m., by the time you get home and wind down 8 p.m. Okay, so supposedly, the time from 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. is the time you have to do what you have to do. Because it's just 4 hours. Like, those 4 hours, one of them is just gone if you decide to play some video games for a little bit. One of them is just gone if, while you're having dinner, you decide to watch some YouTube videos, and afterwards you decide to keep watching some YouTube videos. 1 hour is gone if you decide to, say, work on a drawing. Now, if, say, you're working on a big project, like a high-commitment project, like Lab Depot, oh boy, that's 3 to 4, sometimes 5 hours gone. Just thrown at this thing. But hey, where do you get the 5th hour? Oh, that's where the fun starts. You chip away at your sleep schedule. Little bit by bit, you chip away at everything else that you're supposed to be doing. I'm chipping away right now. I'm supposed to be, I don't know, cleaning my room. I'm supposed to be doing that important adult stuff I told you about 2 weeks ago. I'm supposed to be making preparations for my trip. But no, I'm here, talking to you. Why? Oh, why? Here's the answer. You're not supposed to fret about what needs to be done. If the time you spend is time spent on what you want to spend it. That's why time is important. Because if you're spending time you don't want to spend, if you're spending time on something you don't want to spend it, then that's lost time. Those 4, 5 hours, sometimes even 6 hours, spent on Lab Depot. Oh, they're gone. They're gone, alright. You're not getting them back. But they're not thrown away. They're put into something. Because the next time you open up that file, there's going to be work done. The next time you open up the Word document, there's already going to be work done. There's already going to be progress made. And even if, say, you spend 2 to 3 hours, no, 4 hours, on just sketch and line art, and you decide, this is not good, that work is not gone. Because you're improved by it. And that's why time is really, really important. That's why I'm dedicating effort into tracking it. Because it turns out, and this really split me, of the 8, supposedly I should spend 8 hours, maybe 8.5 hours at work per day. When I pulled up the chart, the chart, the average amount of time that I spent at work per day was 9 hours. Why? Because shifts get thrown from person to person. Because people disrupt that transition. Because you at work is not only you sitting at your desk. It's you putting on the uniform. It's you putting on the tie, filling up your water bottle before the shift. It's you taking off the tie, putting away the suit, putting away the blazer. Like, it's you sitting in the bathroom after your shift. Like, all of that time that you're in the facilities is time that you're at work. Even if it's not on your shift, even if you're not on duty per se, you're at work. You're not spending that time how you really want to spend it. There were shifts that I saw that were 10 hours just in this building in a single day. And there's where I learned to change my working habits. Have more stuff prepared, be more efficient with the transition from shift to shift. Of course, contingencies happen. Of course, people get in the way. That's a given. But here's where it all rolls together. Time tracking goals. So you have this first control week. Say, okay, you tracked a total of 90 hours in your week. You got an average of 9 hours spent at work. Okay, how can we reduce this? You work at it, you develop the different dynamics. Okay, what's the results for this next week? Average of 8.5 hours. That's really good. Then you take it to other stuff. Okay, what's the average time spent on chores? Okay, this is good. The house is looking clean. The chores are done. How much time did I spend on it? Okay. How could we... By default, I should put myself in the headspace. Okay. How much chores have I done this week? I need to spend more time. I need to spend... Maybe I'm spending a bit too much time. Maybe I should make the chores process more efficient. I don't know. Oh, how much time am I spending, like, playing games? Now, here's the thing. How much of my recreational time is quality recreational time? You have high quality playing video games. You have medium quality, just sitting around, sipping a cup of tea, watching YouTube videos. And you have low quality, which is scrolling through Twitter and Tumblr and just, like, looking at your photo gallery for some reason, or staring at the sun. So you're trying to reduce these, I wouldn't say bad, I would say lower quality recreation, and you're trying to instead enforce better and better recreation. Like, that in it of itself is a type of, say, self-care, because you're giving yourself better quality rest. This what I'm doing right now, I don't regret doing it, because it's something that I really, really want to do, and I really enjoy doing, and I really enjoy the product of it. It's not, say, work, but it is, say, practice at the same time of it being sort of its own recreation, because I'm expressing myself just like I would express myself writing. I'm expressing myself just as I would express myself drawing, and I'm pulling something together for later enjoyment. I think this is, of the things that I do, this is the one that's, like, sort of the most immediately gratifying, even more so than art. But then again, it's not what I do, and this might not even make it to the public, but we'll see. So, time tracking goals is essentially better spent time. Seeing where all your time goes, seeing what you can do about that. Alright, so, is the podcast going to be a real project? Even though I feel like it's not, I also think that it's inevitable. I don't know when. Probably before the end of the year. Maybe. I don't know. But I do feel like I'm benefiting from recording these. I don't know what the result would be if I would publish these. If I publish these, they're going to be really heavily edited. Different places for different work. That one went for quite a while. I did not expect having this much to talk about on that subject, because it kind of went off on a tangent of, like, environment design, and honestly, like, it's just one of those things. Sorry, it's just one of those things that leads into this main theme that I'm going to talk about right after this. It's just really interesting. I didn't know I had this much to say. Time tracking goals. It's, you get the term life-changing thrown around it, just like all these sorts of things. But something that was mentioned in the podcast, the Cortex podcast, is that if you want to be productive in any sort of way, the minimum requirements are calendar and task manager. Just a checklist app. But in going one step beyond, going into time tracking, like, it's like a wake-up call. It reminds you of what time is supposed to be. And it's just really, really weird now. And I don't know, it may or may have not have contributed to my questionable mental health, but I feel it changed my life for the better. God, that sounds cheesy. I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna frickin' leave. I've been sitting here for... Hold on. Podcast, no. Yeah. And basically what this is doing is that just churning out better quality time. This is where different places for different work means. It's that how can you be more effective at doing what you want to do? And just working towards that. Like, where can you write more effectively? Okay, meaning I can pump out a bit more in less time with less effort. How can you do things more productively? Like, okay, the last recording, I had little to no preparation. Show notes were prepared in an afternoon, and the preparation was non-existent. I just sat in front of a computer and started yapping. Right now, okay, I prepared my voice. I have these show notes for, like, 2 weeks in advance. I picked out the ones I really wanted to talk about and I really felt were useful, and and I actually warmed up my voice, drank some, like, chamomile tea to, like, really loosen up, and, like, do preparations, and now I'm pumping out, like, better results. Hopefully. I have not listened to this yet. Hopefully they'll be better. I think they'll be better, just because of how I feel talking right now, so hopefully they'll be better. Because last time I was just exhausted, and I was just sitting there for, like, 30, 40 minutes, and right now I feel like I could keep going, sort of, and I've been sitting here for, like, an hour and a half. I've been sitting here for an hour and a half talking to a microphone. It's just fucking stupid. What the hell am I doing with my life? I'm just gonna just fucking